Well, good morning. Welcome to Marky Mark's reloading bench. However, we're not at the bench, we're in the workshop because there's something I want to try. Annealing brass, which basically used a melting pot for lead filled with sand, which operates at just about the same temperature as what you want. So I got a little Lee melting press with a rheostat on it, and I'm going to plug it in to heat it up. That'll take a little bit. And I've got a thermometer here which goes up to 1,000 degrees that we can get the proper temperature, which I need to double check on. It's somewhere around 720 degrees, give or take. And we'll let that heat up and come back, get some brass, and show you how it's done. Hopefully it'll work. Okay, our furnace is heated up. I've tried to get a better temperature specification, but that seems to vary anywhere from 430 degrees to 740 degrees. So this heated up quickly, although I had the thermometer in the bottom all the way down, so when I shot up to 800 quickly. So what I've done is put it down just about 1/2 of an inch. And I'm about 580 degrees. I turned it up just a skosh, and it's just climbing a little bit. So what we're going to do is take a case. I've got a couple little bins of 308 brass. Stick it in, grab the next one, stick it in, pull out the first one, stick in the next one, pull it out, and keep this rhythm going. If you leave the case in there too long, the whole thing will heat up. We're just after the neck and the shoulder, and I'll change the camera view in a second, give you a better idea of what's going on in here. So let me go ahead and change that so you can see. Okay, let me get back to this rhythm thing, and you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. And it's only staying in there for a couple of seconds at most. The temperature is at about 590 degrees. That was warm. So you might want to have pliers handy just in case that happens. But that's the general idea. And we'll see how well that works. After they cool down, I'll give them a better inspection. As if this hobby isn't technical enough, I see a lot of newbies in some blogs and groups that seem to be taking it to the nth degree, which is fine, well and good. It's like anything. You know, you can dive in as deep as you want. For me, it initially was about cost. When I started some 35 years ago, you could reload at about 20% of what ammunition costs. That's changed drastically now. I managed to find most of my brass at the range, with some odd exceptions of some unusual or obsolete brass that can cost as much as $3 a piece. And projectiles are just astronomical nowadays. You can get cheapies for plinking, but if you want a good hunting tip or a quality target tip, they can be quite expensive. Good hunting tips I've seen 50 cents a piece, and for plinking rounds I've seen, I think I bought a batch of 223s for like $66 for 1,000, so that's about as cheap as it gets. And some of those obsolete ones I was talking about, I actually have to cast my own projectiles, which I use from whatever I can scrounge, wheel weights, linotype, might add tin to it. And even then, some of them are quite large. I get 10 to a pound. And here in Washington State, wheel weights were made illegal in 2008. Thanks a lot. So scrounging lead can be an issue, at least where I'm located. The local junkyard sells it for 45 cents a pound. I haven't had to buy any. I've still got about 80 pounds left to play with, and it's not like I go through a lot of those rounds. So again, as part of the process that we were doing today, we're trying to anneal the brass without spending a whole lot, which is where I started out before I started rambling. With getting too technical, you can spend a lot of money on every facet of this. I was kind of discouraged that annealers start out at about $400, commercial ones, and that extends the life of your brass. And the only thing I've really worn out that I know of is my 30-30s for hunting. I got about 10-12 reloads without annealing. So these 308s, and I'll do some 223s for more high-powered rifles, and the others that get shot a little bit less frequently, hunting rifles like the 30-30, and see how this goes. See how many reloads I can get out of the casing. Fortunately, the failures have been neck splits, which are not going to cause any real safety issues, unlike say the case getting thinned down in this area, which you have to watch out for. You can only check that by going along the inside with a bent wire or a dental pick or something and feeling an indentation. That could be bad. That's definitely unsafe. But I've had a lot of steel case military type brass that is prone to cracking, and it's not really a safety issue. The old Mausers, I had a case rupture in the center, and in the older Mausers, World War II vintage, they had a blowhole, if you will, safety gas release, which definitely saved me that day. Again, recap, the little Lee melting pot we used was a cheapie. I got from Midway, I believe. It was like $42 on sale for like $32 or something. And I've got another melting pot. It's bigger with the hole on the bottom. This one specifically purchased. I put play sand in it. I couldn't find a handful. I had to buy a bag of play sand at Home Depot for $2.69 or whatever. And the most expensive part was probably their thermometer, which I did not have. It'll get used in the lead pot as well. That ran about $40. So, and you know, I've discovered I've got it cranked up to 9 on the rheostat, and I'm at 600 degrees, and that's the surface of the sand where the brass is going to go. I could probably play with that and get it hotter, but I'm hoping that 600 will be good. So hit the subscribe button for more reloading tidbits in the future, and don't forget to hit that like button. Leave a comment. Any tips on this will be appreciated, because I'm kind of winging it here and finding out the hard way. I just caught wind of this technique and trying it out.